What's up YouTube? I got a pretty cool UU match here against HikenAce92. It is really close and comes right down to the wire, so I know all of you will enjoy it. Looking at his team, obviously his Sharpedo is going to be the biggest threat for my team because of the Crunch, Ice Beam, and Waterfall set. And also the Bronzong and Dusclops core is going to be hell annoying. So I'm going to see if I can work around that. He might also have a Spikes Roserade set, a Scarf Darmanitan, which is also what I'm running. And I'm really not sure what he's going to do with Porygon Z. So we're going to have to see how he's going to play out with that. He's going to go with his Roserade. I'm going to go with my Darmanitan. Obviously this is not a good switch in for him. So he's going to have to switch out and go into his Dusclops, which is easily going to take a U-turn from mine. But I do get the switch advantage and I am able to bring in my Mismagius, which is going to be very good. Now when bringing in Mismagius, I'm thinking, okay, I could easily go for the sub because he doesn't want to stay in and take a Shadow Ball, or he could also go into his Porygon Z and maybe just take the Shadow Ball in case I wanted to do that. But I guess he wants to play it safe and go into his Bronzong as I go for the substitute, which is going to be probably the best play he could have gone for right there. Maybe Sharpedo, but then again I could also be running Thunderbolt and HP fighting. So I go for the Shadow Ball and it does a little bit more than I expected it to, so I'm thinking this might actually be a defensive wall and that maybe his Dusclops is his special defensive wall. So he's going to go for the Gyro Ball, which is obviously going to break my sub. I do have the special defense drop, so he's going to actually expect me to go for another Shadow Ball, which is why in a second here he's going to bring in his Porygon Z. Now that actually works out great for me because I don't really want to stay in and go for a Shadow Ball because I know I can't take a Gyro Ball that well at all. So I'm going to go into my Darmanitan and that's going to be fantastic for me because I am obviously going to be faster since I am Scarfed and I do have a higher base speed than his Pokemon. So he's going to be forced to bring in his Dusclops, and you know, Flare Blitz is going to do quite a lot of damage, and I expected him to maybe just go for the Pain Split, and I didn't really think I could kill with one more Flare Blitz. Really was going to be very close if that did or not, but if it didn't, you know, then Pain Split was going to obviously screw me up. So I was going to go into my Porygon Z now, which could easily go for the Trick and then proceed to go for a couple Dark Pulses, which is going to be very good because he's going to be forced to go for Curse, which is really not something you see on Dusclops these days. At least in my opinion, I really haven't seen one yet so far in Black and White 2. I've seen a couple in Black and White, but not many in Black and White 2, so kind of strange, but I guess it works out well for him because he's honestly going to be able to take me out with one more Curse, and then I'm just going to have to fodder out my Porygon Z. So, like I said, you might all see more Curse Dusclops. I just don't see it that much. So, he goes for the U-turn with his Darmanitan. I just wanted to get this thing done. And I'm going to be able to get the free switch advantage, which is pretty nice. It's going to go into Sharpedo, and really the only thing that can take hits from this thing well is going to be my Kingdra. So going into Kingdra, and I knew he would probably want to go for the Protect or switch out, so I thought my best move was to go for the Dragon Dance, and that's going to be pretty good because he's going to bring in his Bronzong, but I didn't really know if this was, you know, like I said, a special defensive or a defensive set. I thought this was going to be a 2-hit KO. Unfortunately, it is not. But he actually decides to go for Toxic, which is not that bad because I am running the Resto Chesto set. That's going to work out well in my favor, I thought. Keep in mind, I thought. So, I'm going to go for another Waterfall as he's going to go for an Earthquake because that's really going to do, should do more than a Gyro Ball. So, he's going to go for the Earthquake and that's going to weaken me down to quite a bit. Also, after the Toxic damage, it's going to be quite unfortunate after, you know, 2 Toxic turns. He's going to be able to bring in his Darmanitan, and that's where it gets interesting. So, I'm going to go for the Waterfall here. I'm easily going to knock him out. He just didn't want to bring in anything else, so yeah, he's going to bring in his Darmanitan out, and I really expected him to go for the U-turn because I still have 2 Pokemon that are levitating, which is Gligar and Mismagius. I really didn't think he would expect me to stay in there, but you know, it works out well in his favor, and that just really sucks. So I'm going to go for the sub, as I knew he pretty much wanted to go into Porygon C since I already got rid of his both of his walls. That's basically the only thing that could take hits from this thing right now. So I go for HP fighting. Didn't expect it to kill, but I knew it would do quite a good amount of damage, and indeed it does. It does over half, so it's going to be a 2-hit KO, which is pretty good. He's going to go for a Dark Pulse of his own, and thankfully he's not Scarfed, because if he was Scarfed, that was going to be a big issue for me. I would have been forced to switch into Kyogre, And, Cargadol can't really do much to his team whatsoever, what he has left, because, Sharpedo and both Darmanitan obviously resist ice. So, fortunately, though, he's not Scarfed, he is Life Orbed, and I am able to go for that HP fighting. So, he's going to be forced to switch in his Sharpedo here, and I really thought he wanted to go for Protect here, expecting me to maybe just go for the HP fighting. It really sucks, because he ends up going for the Crunch, and now he's going to be faster than me, and it's like, shit, because I really can't do much about that now. I'm going to be forced to let my Miss Magius just die from a Crunch. I'm kind of surprised he didn't actually end up going for the Waterfall, because I have 2 other pokes that are weak to water, so that was kind of surprising there. But nevertheless, I just decided to stay in and sag this thing so I can easily just bring in my Gligar, which I hope this thing is not running Ice Beam. I'm praying to God it's not. So he goes for the Waterfall, and that shows that he's obviously not running Ice Beam. It's going to do a lot. It's going to do more than half, so that's going to be pretty worrisome for me. I was thinking, okay, an Earthquake should be able to take you out. But no, of course, it decides to live with, like, I don't know, like 10 HP or something like that. So I'm going to be forced to switch out into my Caragonal, because I want to keep both my Gligar and my Darmanitan later. So he's going to go for the Waterfall. That's going to obviously knock him out because of his own Life Orb recoil. And so that really sucks, because, I don't know. He would have been forced to bring in his Roserade, I think, and then, decide to go for Sleep Powder, and I could have gone in Caragonal, and then all this stuff would happen, and I would have had a better outcome in this game. So, I do decide to go into Darmanitan as he goes into his Roserade. He probably should have led off with his own Darmanitan to start out with, but I guess he just decided to do, I don't know, maybe he might be Jolly Scarfed, but I don't know. It really didn't make much sense as to why he didn't lead off with his own Darmanitan. As you see here, he's going to outspeed, so either he is Jolly Scarfed or he just won the speed tie. So really don't know which one that was, but yeah. So it's really come right down to the wire here if I can take a Flare Blitz or not. We're going to see right now. Did not think I was going to take this at all. Somehow I live with 12 HP, and it's like, yes, it is so freaking awesome. I knew Gligar should be able to take it, but that close, that was really scary. I decided to go for a Roost just to get some more recoil on him, and I was kind of banking he wouldn't get a crit. So yeah, just to make sure he would be at a low enough HP where I would be able to go for the Earthquake and then finish him off. And that was going to be the game. Boy, was that a close match, like I said. So, yeah, I think that was basically the closest match I've had in, like, maybe ever. I mean, 12 HP on a Gligar. I barely won that match. That was a very good match. I don't know if he has a channel or not. He said he did, but he doesn't really upload much stuff there, so I'm going to figure out if he does or not. But, yeah, so... yeah, so I'll probably send some more battles in later on. I'm starting to get good content these days, so I should be able to bring you guys some more good battles later on. So, yeah, that's basically it. So if you enjoy the battle, enjoy the narration, enjoy the editing, like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed all that. So, yeah, so I will see you all later for my next upload, which is probably going to be like in 1 to 2 weeks. And that's about it today. So I'll see you all later. Peace out. Bye-bye.